So far, we've covered the basics of microservices and learned how to create a simple microservice-based application using Nest.js. We use the request-response communication style with a NATS message broker to exchange messages between our services. In this lesson, we'll be learning about how we can use the event-based communication style to create an alarm service that will listen for new alarms. Let's start by generating a new alarms service application using the Nest.js CLI. So let's head over to our terminal and run the following command: nestg app alarms-service. Also, let's generate a new application called alarms-generator that will be used for demonstration purposes. This application will periodically generate new alarms and send them to the alarms service. To schedule the generation of new alarms, we'll use the Nest.js schedule package. So let's make sure we install it with npm i at nestjs/schedule. Once the installation is complete, let's open up our Docker Compose YAML file and add some new services. As always, you can find all code snippets below the course video. We'll focus on the alarms service first. Before we can add a new event handler, let's head over to the main.ts file and follow the same steps we did in the previous lesson to convert our HTTP application to a hybrid application that supports both HTTP and NATS entry points. Note that since we haven't implemented any health check endpoints in this service, we could technically use the create microservice method instead of the connect microservice method. However, to keep it consistent with the workflow service, we'll stick with connect microservice. Next, let's open the alarm service controller file and replace the contents of the alarm service controller class with the following code. The event pattern decorator here is used to declare an event handler. The string alarm.created will be the name of the event pattern that this event handler will subscribe to. We'll use the same event pattern in the alarms generator service to dispatch events to the alarms service. Events, contrary to messages, are not expected to return a response. Regardless of what happens inside of the event handler, nothing will be sent back to the sender. So let's save our changes and head over to the alarms generator application now. Alarms Generator will be a simple application that will periodically generate new alarms and send them to the alarms service. In a real-world application, this service would of course be replaced by a real alarm system, for example, an external service that would notify the alarm service when a new alarm is triggered. Think of this service as a mock service that we'll use just for demonstration purposes. Starting off, we can replace the main.ts file with the following code. Since we don't need this application to listen to HTTP requests, we can remove the app.listen call and convert this Nest application to a standalone application. With this in place, let's open up the alarms generator module file, import the schedule module, and remove the alarms generator controller class. Also, let's not forget to remove the actual alarms generator controller file as well. Next, let's create a constants.ts file and add the following code. We can use this constant, alarm service, to register a new client to the client's module in the alarms generator module file. Next up, inside of the alarms generator service, we'll create a new method called generateAlarm that will emit an event to the alarms service. Note that to dispatch an event, we use the emit method instead of the send method. To instruct the framework to trigger this method periodically, we'll use the interval decorator. And lastly, let's inject the alarm service using the inject decorator, passing alarms_service constant to it, and add the private access modifier to the alarm service property. Let's save our changes and head over to the terminal and run the following command to start everything up: docker compose up. Let's wait till everything is up and running and check the logs. As we can see, the alarm service is now receiving new alarms from the alarms generator service. So, to summarize, we learned how to use the event-based communication style in Nest.js to dispatch asynchronous events between our services. We also learned how to use the event pattern decorator to declare an event handler. The alarms generator service is just a mock service that we used for demonstration purposes. In real-world application, This service would be replaced by a real alarm system, for example, an external service that would notify the alarm service whenever a new alarm is triggered. Fortunately, the concepts we've learned in this lesson would remain the same and would be applicable to your future Nest.js applications.